when we get a shorter ball to our forehand in mid-court, usually we start drooling. It's a great opportunity to attack the ball, but usually only when the ball is a little higher, because that is when we feel we can be aggressive, we can tee off on the ball. However, when it's a shorter, lower ball, players tend to panic a little bit because they don't know what to do. Am I going to come in with it? Am I going to recover back behind the baseline? Well, it's a lower ball. I can't be that aggressive, so what do I do? In this video, I'm going to show you how to hit these balls, how to approach them, and we're going to have a special focus on the footwork. When you have those higher mid-court forehand balls, usually you have a more aggressive mindset, as you should have, because you probably earned that ball either by pushing your opponent off the court, you pulled them out wide, or you pushed them off back behind the baseline. And basically that higher, slower mid-court ball is all they could do. And obviously when you're already in charge of the point, it's so much easier to then either go for the winner, which is fine in that instance, or to follow that ball in. But when it's a lower ball, especially when your opponent didn't necessarily mean to hit it that low, you get stuck somewhere in mid-court, in no man's land, you're frazzled, and your forward movement is, yeah, it's not on your terms. So immediately you're not quite as aggressive. On that ball, you can't swing the same ways if you're all the way back behind the baseline or on those higher mid-court balls. And of course, that also makes your footwork not the same as on those two other instances. So we have a twofold issue. One of the swing path that needs to change and the footwork. Let's start with the footwork because obviously that comes before you're even hitting the ball. So that ball sits somewhere here in mid-court. It's a little lower, meaning the ball doesn't rise as much and doesn't give you more time to get to the ball. You have to get to the ball fast, and you're not going to have time to set up like you would on a higher mid-court ball because they sit a little bit more. They give you a lot more time. If you were to do that, you'd basically be putting the brakes on and then reaching, tumbling over. So you have to find a way to transition through the ball after you've gotten there fast and still maintain your balance. There's two options. The first one is you're getting up to the ball as quickly as you can, and as a right-hander, you're turning and you put your left foot in front. And because you're not breaking your momentum there, you're not breaking your movement, you're now hopping on your front foot, which is your left, hop, hop, and continue to move forward. And that hop, hop allows you to stay side on momentarily and initially turn your hip and your shoulders. And of course, you're staying balanced. I know that doesn't necessarily feel quite as suitable as those higher balls to be aggressive, but the aggressive part comes from you being so far inside the court that basically just give it another 2-3 aggressive steps and you're going to be in a great volley position. You're not going to have time moving back, recovering back behind the baseline. So what you want to do on that ball is go for depth and then follow it in. Dare them to pass you. Second option that you have is what I call playing the ball goofy-footed, because it's going to be the exact opposite. You're going to lead with your right leg. And I know that this is probably not necessarily taught. However, I'm not a big fan of fitting your body into a pattern when there is another, for your body, more comfortable, more effective way to get to certain balls. Doesn't mean that I'm hitting all my approach shots that way, but I want to be able to adjust to any ball, and if my right foot is leading, so be it. Let's play it goofy-footed. Same premise. You want to get up to the ball as quick as you can, and this time you're just leading with your right. It still allows me to turn, and then I'm hitting, and I'm basically just running through. That goofy-footed pattern is actually the easier one when you're going old school, when you're slicing that low ball. Makes it a lot easier to transition through it because you wouldn't do this on a slice. That doesn't work at all. No matter how you choose to get to that ball, you now have to change your swing path. Of course, if you choose a slice, It's a lot easier to get under the ball, open your racket face a tiny bit, lift that ball over that pesky obstacle, the net, that we still have to clear. So that is why you have to change your swing path. When we're somewhere here in mid-court and the ball is very low already and we're close to the net, we have to get the ball up very quickly because it doesn't have a whole lot of time basically to rise. So it needs to get up quickly, but because we're that far inside the court, we also have less room to hit into, which means that we also have to give it a whole lot of spin to get the ball up quickly over the net and then make it come down, which is what topspin does. Less room to hit into, more topspin. So as you're getting to the ball goofy-footed or with your hop, doesn't matter. You want to let your racket head drop very, very low under the ball and then brush up very steep right here. And that is why you might then see different finishes. You might see an inverted one. You might see a completely abbreviated one that doesn't finish the fall through, or the fall through might happen right here over the hip. And all of those options are perfectly fine. As a slightly different visual, think about how you would move this hoop forward. Yeah, you could do this, of course. You could just drive it forward that way. It's not going anywhere. Obviously, you have to get really low, which is your entire body and your racket head, then go below the ball, start at a very low point here of that hoop, and then roll it forward. And that is one of the drills I used to do as a kid. And then lastly, doesn't matter how you got to the ball, doesn't matter what your swing shape looked like, how you hit that ball, hit it and continue to move in. Do not stop somewhere in mid-court to either admire your ball or wait to see whether it's in or out. You committed to moving up quickly to that ball, hit it, close in. If they call it out, it's out. You just did an extra sprint. If you like videos like this, go ahead and check out my Patreon membership forum, because there I'm posting a whole lot more, including, if you are in the Grand Slam membership level, monthly live coaching calls. There's more videos, there's stroke analysis, all kinds of good stuff. So do check out my Patreon membership forum.